Hey guys, it's Pete from Pete from Anxiety here. Welcome to today's episode. I appreciate y'all being here so much. Let's talk about a few things real quick. The Pete vs. Anxiety Team Anxiety Facebook group. Are you a part of it? You're not? What are you waiting for? The link's down here in the description down below, or go to Facebook and search Pete vs. Anxiety. Then look for the Team Anxiety team page and join it today. Why not? You can join and help. It'll be great. Yeah, like right now. Hurry up. Stop what you're doing. Pause this video. Go do it right now. But anyways, let's also talk about the Pete vs. Anxiety YouTube page. If you're here right now, you're probably following it most likely. If not, head on over there, subscribe, be sure to like and comment on the videos and let me know, because all that stuff really helps, guys. I really appreciate it. And help me break the stigma that mental health is talked about enough. But anyways, guys, let's get into today's episode. I'll have a great one. Thank you so much again. And as I always say, don't ask how your day is. Ask how your mental health is today. Guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Pete vs. Anxiety. I am proud to announce my guest today is the host of Through the Fire podcast, the one, the only, Ryan Wickline. Ryan, how you doing today, brother?
Hey, Pete, I'm doing great. Hey, thanks for having me.
Definitely. Guys, I was a guest on Ryan's show. I loved it so much. I invited him to come back and be a guest on this show. So, Ryan, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
So I'm a mindset coach and aspiring motivational speaker. So I do a lot of mindset work with athletes, a lot of high school, college athletes, trying to get them to get that mental edge.
Yeah, makes sense. So, Ryan, why don't you tell everybody a little about your podcast now? We got to sell that too, man. You got to let people know what it's about.
So pretty much, and it's crazy how I even started this thing. And I started it just because it came in, it just kind of was thrown to me. You know, these one people, I signed up for a speaking engagement. Well, these guys were trying to upsell me TV radio. I'm like, well, I'm not ready to go on TV and radio yet. And I didn't have the funds, what they were asking for me to pay a month. So they were like, hey, do you want to do a podcast? I'm like, yeah, why not? I'll try it, you know, and using it as a tool to kind of grow get more comfortable on camera for my speaking career. Yeah, and next thing you know, this is kind of taking off on me. So that's what it's basically about is talking about mindset and overcoming obstacles, being resilient, getting clarity on what you want, like how to set goals, and bring on people who've overcome things to show people that, hey, whatever is thrown in your way in life, you can overcome it and achieve whatever you want to in life.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I had a great time when I was on, and I'm so happy it took off for you, man. That's the same thing with this show, though. That's like I was telling you when we were interviewing, it just took off, man. It's been taking off still, man. I'm still going. I'm up to 5 days a week recording stuff, and it's just that, it's fun because you get to meet all these new people and things like that, and I was telling Ryan off air a little bit that I was like, hey, man, I'll start sharing some guests with you and see what you think, and just, everybody's got to come to the table to eat, man. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your own story? And I know you came on, you wanted to tell a little bit about Ryan's story. So let's talk about Ryan's story, man. Well, how's it been going for you? Great? Horrible?
Well, right now it's going great. I mean, everything's going good, but like backstory, I used to be addicted to drugs and alcohol. I mean, so my mental health was not very good. I mean, so that's the crazy thing. To think that I do mindset training with people now is like, if you'd have met me probably about 10 years ago, everybody would have been like, yeah, we don't need him around, because like my mindset was horrible. Yeah. But it was through that go ahead.
What caused you to start taking, doing all this stuff? Was it just something that an event in your life that happened? It was like, hey, something so bad that you were trying to silence out the noise?
So the drugs and alcohol, kind of led me down a dark path. And when I was getting clean, and I couldn't silence my mind was my worst enemy. Mm-hmm. And all I kept hearing was getting this message: you have to upgrade your mind. You can upgrade everything else in your life, but if you don't upgrade your mind, your life's not going to change. Yeah. So I started working on how I separate myself from everybody. And I went on this spiritual journey to find God. And he showed me kind of the path that I needed to go down. So it was lots of prayer. Had to definitely change the way I started talking to myself. That was the major thing, was I couldn't talk to myself in them horrible ways anymore. I suck. Why am I doing this? Like, and even why is this happening in my life? Why me? Why me? That had to change too. And like, hey, just accept what it is and go through it.
Exactly, man. And I think what you're touching on is negative self-talk. A lot of people, don't have a conversation with that. Me and another guest, I actually got a perfect person for that topic alone for you. Her name's Betsy Holmberg. She and I discussed it for an hour about how we were talking about people just like the way you're like your harshest critic, that inner critic of yourself is just like you criticize yourself harder than most people, and it's hard because you talk down to yourself all the time. But like you said, it's just like I said, fuck it. I'm just gonna go, let's just let it be what it is, let the cards fall and ride through it. I mean, and it's hard for people to do that though, because a lot of people in that state of, whoa, why me? Woe is me, all that kind of stuff like that. And it's just like it makes me laugh now because I'm like that sometimes too. Like I start stretching out, but then I gotta start taking a deep breath and think about things. And I'm not gonna lie, ever since I found God, it's been a major change. Like everything's
Yes.
just, and it feels like everybody that's put in my path is there for a reason. It started with Rory as my first, interview to now where I'm at now interviewing you. And I've had all these interviews in between there, all these different people I've met along the way. It feels just right because a lot of them I just feel like we aligned some reason. For some reason,
Yeah.
this person in my path for some reason to teach me something or to pump me up even more. And a lot of these guys, or they have more successful than I am, are telling me, hey, listen, I enjoy what you're doing. But all I'm doing is having a conversation. But it's just that the conversation. Think about it. I could sit here and ask you, Ryan, 20,000 questions and it'd be robotic. But now we're
Yeah.
just having a conversation about things. The conversation will obviously will flow a lot differently because we're just talking. We're not an agenda. There's no agenda for anything. We get into any topic on this show, whatever it is. We start with mental health. Sometimes we'll cut into other stuff. It's just great because you just get to see the personality of people shine through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you'll see a lot of the roboticness like sitting there, but like I do believe that like God aligned me to come here, and I know God sent Rory into my life. I mean,
Oh,
I
Roy's
don't know if I ever
fantastic.
told you the story like with me and him. I did his podcast, The Power of Man,
Yeah.
and told my story about overcoming drug addiction. And me and him had no contact for a while, like we were friends on Facebook or anything. But as I was like getting ready to start launching my speaking career and everything, I started posting on Facebook every day to try to build brand awareness and everything. And one day he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey man, I've been seeing a lot of your posts every day, which isn't normal, for the analytics to let me see your posts every day." And it was kind of crazy. He's like, "Hey, do you think we could talk?" So I like, yeah, let's hear what you got to say. So first thing he asked me was, "What's your goals?" And I told him, I said, "Hey, I want to be a professional speaker. I want to get paid to go speak on stages. That's it."
Yeah.
He goes, "What do you think about starting a podcast?" I was like, "Huh, funny you should ask me that. I'm supposed to actually do that my first episode today."
Yeah, see, that's funny though. Me and Rory talked on the first day of my episode too. He's like, when do you start? When's your first episode? Oh, it's today at like 10 o'clock. He's like, really? 10 o'clock already? I'm like, yeah. That morning, me and Rory had interviewed, and he was like, he was laughing about that too. So I'm sure when he heard that, he had to start thinking of that a little bit. Like, oh shit, man,
Yeah.
it sounds a little familiar, buddy.
Yeah. Well, that's what he was like. He goes, "I'm just telling you." He goes, "I want to work with you and help you." He goes, I I believe God's telling me to help you. And I'm like, I agree with you on that one because I know how God works in my life at times.
Yeah,
Like he'll just bring random people into my life to help
yeah.
me, to get me
I
to
don't think
that
it's
next
random
level.
people so much, man. I think it's he has a path, and these are the people he's put in
Yeah.
your path. You believe in energy at all? Like the whole energy working thing. The idea is that your energy attracts these people to you, basically. So attracted Rory to you, attracted me in your path, and everybody else that's been there. And all that kind of stuff, man. It's the same principle as God putting something there. I still
Yeah.
believe in God 100% because ever since I accepted faith, everything is just falling into place. The podcasting network I got on right away, meeting Rory the first day of the show, literally doing one that morning, and things like that to where I'm at now, and I've done all these different shows. I've had all these different guests, and it's all faith. I believe it's just, because I just believed in him. I talked to him when I had problems. I would just talk to him. And it's just great because, you know, a lot of people are like, well, how do you know he's listening? He's always listening. Like let's
Yeah.
start the crap here. Like, stop like questioning everything. How about just give into it for once and try it? It's not drugs, it's not alcohol. I'm not asking you to do something completely crazy. I'm not saying let's go join a cult or something. I'm asking you just to talk to somebody that's listening always, you know. And it's like having your own personal therapist in your car on your way to work. You don't have to say it out loud. You can talk to them in your head, you know, all these kind of different things, you know. And I know Rory has that faith-based podcast he was talking about. And I told him, I'm like, yeah, I'm down, man. I'll share it because like I can't explain to you how everything's changed dramatically ever since then. It was just, you know, another person noticed that I was really good at talking with people. And he's like, hey, do you ever notice that you can have a conversation with those people and make them feel comfortable within the first like few seconds of meeting them? And he's like, you know, you have this uncanny ability. He's like, I was watching you and I'm watching you interact with random strangers that come in and you can just talk to anybody. And it's been true so far. I've had some people be like, hey, listen, I didn't know what to expect from this conversation. But after 2 minutes of meeting you, I was like, holy fuck, never mind. This guy, we're locking in. Let's go. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's so easy to get along with people. So that's what started pushing me towards this. And then when the show was conceptualized, it just hit me like, you know, Pete versus anxiety. Why not? Because I battle my own anxiety every day. You know, like it's that mindset you get into where your brain takes something, it just starts spinning like a dryer and just keeps going faster, you know, and it just takes off, you know. And since the evolutionary, the first show, and then when I've talked to you before, like I've learned so much about myself as I go. And I tell a lot of people it's like watching Pete go through a journey because you see the new different Pete come out at the end of this thing where I was in the beginning. You know, it was a little different, but now I'm like, I've learned so many things. And I've met so many different guys with different great things, you know, and Rory and I were talking for a bit when he got sick for a bit too. I kept checking in with him. Hey man, how you doing? You doing okay? You're good? You know, and it's I've constantly reached out to him all the time, you know, just keep in touch with him. And he's been great, you know, and he
Yeah.
was supposed to be on the show, but we had to reschedule. So I was hoping to have
Yeah,
him
I
on
think he was
before.
telling me that he had to reschedule. He missed one of the appointments or something.
Oh, it happens, man. It happens. With
Yeah.
him, it's different. I'm like, dude, listen, you don't have to tell me. And then
Yeah.
you 100% got a golden ticket pass, man.
So
Like you're
when
the
are
one
you
that's
planning on going on that new podcast?
I don't know yet. I haven't decided yet. I know he said he was going to reach out to me with all the information. I'll have to touch base with him. He may have forgot or got busy. He's like, well,
Yeah.
I've been doing 3 different podcasts. I'm like, 3 different podcasts. I knew he had Man of Power, and then he was doing Podcasters Nation. Then he's like, well, I have this third show now. I'm like, you started to sound like
Yeah.
me, man. I got a bunch of other ideas of things that we're going to work on. We're me and the guy from Monday I just interviewed named Casey. Me and him are going to do a men's mental health panel. I just invited the host of the last show was on. We're trying to figure out time wise because he's over in England, so he's like 7 hours ahead of us. So I'm gonna still figure out the details, but it's gonna be something going forward. We're gonna do every month. We're gonna get together. Casey and I are gonna co-host this thing, and we're gonna invite 4 other people to join us, and we're just gonna have a conversation about men's mental health because I feel like the conversation isn't enough. Like people aren't talking about these things
Yeah.
enough, and you're a part of the Facebook group. I posted that video in there this morning. I found it was so powerful. These women were talking about men's mental health, and this guy was giving them statistics and was like, listen, what do you think we're talking about? She's like, well, it's probably men's mental health, just kind of guessing. But the lady at the end of the video had such a powerful statement. It was just like, wow. But it's crazy because like guys are more likely to commit suicide versus girls who talk more about it. And it's hard to hear those numbers. It's like, Jesus, man.
Yeah.
It's like, are you
I
that
think
big of a man that you can't
it's
talk about it?
I think that's what it is. We were programmed at such a young age that we're
Mhm.
considered weak, and that was one of my biggest problems. Like that was probably my biggest weakness. The first thing I had to learn was, hey, you can't bottle up all your emotions.
Mhm. Mhm.
You're not weak for wanting to talk about something.
Yeah.
You're not less than a man for maybe crying something out.
Yeah.
If you're hurt, cry. And that was probably the biggest lesson I learned when I first got off drugs was because I would tell everybody I was like an emotional roller coaster. Like one day I was happy, next day, like I just wanted to lay in bed and cry.
Yeah.
Because of all that pain and everything and all the hurt that I never faced for like 18 plus years,
Mhm.
I was finally had to face it
Yeah.
and
No,
deal with all my
agreed.
problems. I mean, so like that was probably the biggest weakness I had to realize was, hey, it's okay to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
It's okay to face put all your problems out there to somebody else. And if you're hurting, to reach out to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the biggest point is reaching out to somebody. I think a lot of these guys are worried. I think, the whole alpha male persona is that, oh, you're almighty. So, but are you in tune with your feelings? I think it makes you more of an alpha male if you're in tune and you're able to talk about these things, because that puts you ahead of everybody else. And me and Joshua, the host of Let's Just Talk About It, I believe that's what his podcast is called. I don't even remember. I've been doing so many podcasts. I don't remember. Joshua, though, is the gentleman we talked about. He's like, what if it being an alpha male would be you just talk about your feelings too? Like, be more rounded. I think I think that's what makes you a real male, alpha male, is that you're not afraid to talk about anything. You're not afraid to attack anything. Like, you're the leader of the pack because you're not afraid to talk about these things out loud for people to know. That you have emotions, and we all have emotions. I just think people don't want to talk about the emotions, but when we get into it, like you said, we're pre-programmed as males to not talk about these things, or you're going to be silent about it and suffer in silence and things like that. And we suffer in silence, all right, because we're killing ourselves at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
Suicide
Well,
ideation is a real
eventually,
deal.
what you realize too, like eventually, what you keep inside needs to be let out.
Yeah.
And it's going to come out in certain other ways where, like, you lash out at somebody, you get a little bit volatile, and like, I know I became violent. That was like something that I was programmed to do. Like, eventually, I would snap because I was holding everything in. It's like, you can't do that. I mean, and I watched one of my friends, like, he would bottle everything up, and he eventually committed suicide.
Yeah. That's hard, man. It's hard too, because it's like, then it becomes, well, they should have reached out to me. And I think, some people have told me like stories. I had one guest on, she was telling me about it. Real sweet lady. She came on and was like, yeah, I reached out to somebody one time and they just basically ignored me. And I was like, wow, that's fucked up that they told you to reach out to you if you need something. You came to them and then they just basically iced you out and didn't say shit, told you that their problems were bigger than yours. All you wanted them to do was listen. And, we had a moment in the show, I think I told you a little bit about it. The guy that was talking about suicidal ideation, Brian, he had come on and he was talking about that morning. He had the gun in his hand, sitting at the edge of the bed. And he was talking about it. And people were just going fucking bananas. They're like, oh, God, Godzilla's coming. Kind of like panicking. I'm like, but guys, think about it. He's talking to us about this. We're live recording this episode. He is talking about it live. We're in better stances than you could think, because at least he's talking to you. Because he could say nothing and could have already done it and been done with it, and just said, but he started talking about it, and you watch his emotions change a little bit. He gets a little more at ease because you could tell he had something on his mind. And we were talking just like this, and he stops. He goes, hey, Pete, can I tell you something? I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? Talk to me. And he just started telling me about it. And he went around, came back to it again, because I had somebody listen to the recording afterwards, and he was like, yeah, he goes away from it and comes back to it again. But he gets a little more positive. You can see he feels a little more, it doesn't seem so jumpy at first, because at first when you first meet him, you kind of get a feeling like something wasn't right about him. Like, hey, listen, there's just something up. And he was just talking to me. And he just started admitting that. And I was just like, wow, that was powerful, because you had 18 people you don't know asking about this guy, going like, oh my God, is he still alive? I'm like, yeah, he's fine. I talked to him already. Later that day, he'd been messaging me, liking some of my other posts I have and things like that, And I don't know why it's such a hot button issue for people when people start talking about these things. It's like, guys, you want them to talk to you, because that way they feel like they're being heard, because that's one of the reasons why people commit suicide. They feel like they're not being heard. They feel like they're a burden. And it just they feel this hopelessness, like, you listening to them, it helps, man, because it's a rough conversation for a lot of you people, but it's like, guys, gear in. It's always a rough conversation, especially somebody's talking about taking their life, or they're making jokes about it and things like that, or they start going away and start like kind of pulling back and just kind of keeping to themselves more. It's just big red flags that, hey, listen, just check in on them, call them like, hey, listen, how you doing? Because that phone call could save somebody's life. You don't know what they're thinking at that time. But if you're calling them, hey, listen, how you doing? I'm just checking in on you. You right there could save them right there, because then they feel like, okay, well, somebody knows I'm here. They're checking in on me, and, that could make their whole day there. Even just randomly complimenting people. It's like, hey, listen, I like your shirt. Things like that, just like it goes a long way. Kindness goes a far way. And I think that's where we, as a society, have gotten far away from. We're too busy trying to hate each other for everything. Oh, you're gay? I don't like you because you're gay. Oh, who fucking cares, man? Whatever you do in your own backseat, I don't care what you do in your own privacy. You want to do, you're into guys, okay, that's cool. Because I had a daughter that went through that. She was conflicted about, do I like girls or like guys? Dad, I like girls. I'm like, okay, I still love you. What does that mean? What are you at saying to me that you want me to say that I don't agree with you? Do you want me to sit here and shame you about it? I'm not going to do any of that shit to you. You're still my daughter at the end of the day. I don't care who you're with. If you're happy, that's what really matters at the end of the day. And it's that weird mindset these people get into, because the internet is a terrible place for that, because you see all these videos and things of people doing these things, and a lot of them are doing it just for clout. And it's just like, stop. Like, you got to know how to distort reality from this bullshit that these people are posting out there, that these are okay things to do to each other and say these kind of things. It's like, and I think that's where a lot of these younger kids is where the problem is running into, is a lot of them are seeing all these people saying, oh, well, you need to go do all these things or else, or they see that Andrew Tate's out there with that mindset of you need to treat women like shit for no reason. It's like, it doesn't work like that, fellas.
No.
Like, they're like, sorry, but not how this works. Andrew Tate may be successful in his own mind, right? That's awesome, but you're not Andrew Tate at the end of the day. You're Ryan, you're Peter, you're whoever you are. You're your own individual self.
Well, there's so much like with social media and even the internet where everybody's chasing clicks.
Mm-hmm.
They want the status, and that's what everybody wants. Instead of like the traditional type of work, everybody thinks they're going to be famous or some content creator, and it's like, hey, not everybody's meant to do that.
Oh, God,
Not everybody needs to be heard at times.
Yes. Yes, I love it. He's like, not everybody's heard. It's exactly what I'm talking about. What is it? Somebody's like, another guy I know, he was like, yeah, I want to start a podcast. I just want to call it Idiot America or something like that. I was like, I'll get you started. I got to see where this goes. I'm curious. I'm like, he's like, well, I'm gonna upset a lot of people. I'm like, yeah, Rush Limbaugh upset a lot of people too, but that's what made him successful. Not saying that you're going to be successful like Rush Limbaugh, but Jesus.
It seems like the people that get the most clicks are the people that are the most volatile and that people disagree with their message, because you got the other side wanting to crucify them, so it makes people tune into them.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, and a lot of them do those really like oddball videos. They're like, you get your algorithm of just random videos that are showing up on there too. Yeah. No, I just like, it's just so funny because I'm like, yeah, I'll help you get this thing started, because I'm like, I'm curious to what you're going to say at this point, because it's just like, like the Howard Stern story, like Howard Stern, that's how he attracted a lot of people. I just want to hear what he's going to say next. The reason people keep listening, I want to hear what he's going to say next. And it's like, no, stop it. Like, let's, I think the message that we're sending to our youth, though, is just like, they want to be through these streamers, but they don't realize how much work goes into these guys are playing the video games for 10 hours a day. It seems like it's all fun and games, man, but you got to sit there and play the same game repetitively. I'm like, oh, no, dude, I couldn't do it. It's horrible.
Well, and even they don't understand that how much work goes into even the other stuff. Like, hey, I want to become a content creator. Well, then look how many hours you have to spend creating content for just that one chance of something going viral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because one person was able to do it doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it. I mean, sometimes it's a little luck.
Yeah, it's a lot of luck too. And a lot of those guys spend all them hours in their lives are always on camera. Like, the real world was like that. A lot of those people gain fame from that. And they don't realize you don't have privacy anymore. That's out the window right there. Okay, cool. You're popular. So what are you gonna do after the fact that you lose popularity and people lose interest? Because you constantly, like you said, have to constantly come with new ideas to keep drawing attention to people and get clicks and all that other kind of great stuff. And that's what I like about podcasting, though. It's like you can have so many different people in the same space. So that's the thing I hear a lot of from people like, well, somebody else has a podcast about this. Okay, but you're not that person. You have your own voice. There's 24 hours in a day. You know that, right? They can't listen to the same show and not run out of content to listen to. You putting more different things out there. There's 7 days a week, 24 hours in each day. Think about all that time space in there, that people have to listen to different things, and like, don't limit yourself just because you're like, oh, well, somebody else is doing it too. You can't, but be your own authentic self. At the end of the day, like, that's what a lot of people buy into. Like, people can read crap a mile away. They can read that you're fake. And that was the thing about this show that my wife was emphasizing to me. It was like, listen, if you're gonna get into space, you better be careful how you do it. Don't be making like jokes of certain things. Like, we'll joke and stuff on the show, but don't make jokes about different things people deal with, because some of these people can get really hardcore and very upset, and you'll get that side that you'll just get the only hater side of it. you won't get the support. You'll get people looking at you like you're a clown running a damn circus over here, and I was like, okay, I got that, so, but at the
Yeah,
same
but you guys
time,
can't really control that though either. I mean, some people are just out there and are going to
oh no,
attack you
yeah,
for
that
any
I'm getting to
reason, you
that
know?
point for sure. Yeah, no, I've got some weird comments in some of my videos. Like we were talking about cell phones or something, and somebody's like, "Yeah, that's right, the phones are the problem." I'm like, "Ooh, somebody's a little touched by this, huh?" And my favorite thing to do is like go on TikTok and just scroll to some of these wild videos and just go look in the comment section because the shit people are saying. Like it's like, oh my god, the things these people are getting mad about. Well, I don't like this because your shirt's green. Huh? You don't like me because my shirt's green? What? It's the same thing with these. What is this girl I watch on YouTube all the time? She's a Call of Duty streamer. She goes in and say, "Hey guys, real nice and sweet," and then it's like, "Oh, go fuck yourself," or "Go make me a sandwich." I'm like, "Ooh, okay, somebody's a little touched by something around here," and my wife, she plays online now. She's never played games online, so man, she's not used to these people saying crazy shit. So she's getting into it now, and she's like, "Yeah, it's some the other day get mad at us, say something about what did she say? Something. Oh, you don't have a bitch to go make you a sandwich afterwards. Okay, it's all right. You mad because you don't have a girlfriend? Your girlfriend will make you a sandwich after whatever they were talking about." And I was like, "Oh no, I've created a monster here." She's never been online before. She's never played online games before, so she's
Yeah.
not used to interacting with other people. She's made a couple friends. I was very excited about that. I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome. You got a couple friends." Hopefully, it blossoms into something because a friend of mine, that's how we met, was through Call of Duty. And
Yeah.
we're still friends to this day. We talk almost every day, all the time. We just bullshit about different things all day. And it's what it's like with her. So I'm hoping, she made a friend because she doesn't know a lot of people where we moved to. She moved away from the
Yeah.
situation she was in, and things like that. And it's been better for her, man. It just at first it was rough. She didn't see the ending picture, but now she's got a better paying job. She
Yeah.
has a better relationship with her kids, things like that. Things are changing for the better for her, and it's little by little, and you see her just getting more excited about it, now we have grandchildren now too. So now we have grandkids and things like that. And it's so much is going on every day, man. Every day before I hit record, there's a lot of things that go on in the back scenes, and it's great. I love it. I love getting the response from people saying, "Oh, hey, I love what you're doing." And these are people more successful than I am. There's people like 2 million plus downloads are telling me that they appreciate me being a part of the conversation. And I get a raving review from them and things like that. And it feels good. And it's like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like I'm still just having a conversation with people, and it's the conversation not enough people are having because the numbers don't lie. Like we're losing people at an alarming rate to suicide and all these other mental health issues. And, people are getting addicted because they're trying to solve these problems, and the root evil caused everything. But at the same time, too, the whole thing of like therapy isn't the one track mind. It's we're expanding to so many different things. There's people are doing things with psychedelics and different things like that to help out people. So there's so many different options now that you don't have to feel like I got to go talk to a therapist about my feelings. They have people like yourself to do coaching and things like that can help people take a different approach to stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I think a lot of people just like scared of change or like scared of, the unknown. So what do you turn to? You're faced a little bit of hardship and adversity. You turn to drugs and alcohol to kind of cope with everything,
Yeah.
to deal with the pain. I mean, so like I understand a lot of that, but and then you got like the therapists and everything. A lot of them just want to put you on drugs and medication, not really help you.
Yeah. Isn't that scary though? It's like, do you just
Yeah,
want
I
to,
mean, you trade one thing for another. I mean, they're like, that's the only thing that I really don't like about a lot of the stuff, like how quick people are. How do I put this? Or like people in the medical profession are so quick to prescribe like narcotics to you.
Yeah, no, they're more hesitant now, I think, nowadays with certain things because they're realizing the habit and the addictive form a lot of them have, like painkillers and things like that. A lot of people get addicted to those, and it's scary that we know these problems exist. Like mental health is the most cited thing a lot of times. So school shootings happen. Okay, well, hey, maybe they had mental health issues. Okay, so these are a problem, but you
Yeah.
want to blame an inanimate object for being the reason. It's like it didn't. The
Let's
gun
blame
didn't
the
have
guns.
mental.
It's the gun's fault.
It's not a fucking transformer. Okay, it does not got to turn into a robot and It's not going to grow arms and take off on its own. Something had to use this item to make it work. Like if anything you play, any games you play too, the same thing. You have to use the item for it to do something. So like I think it irritates me more and more when people say, oh well, there's a mental health issue. He had problems. Okay, so if you knew he had problems, why didn't you do something about this sooner? Why let this continue to get any further? You know, and like the example of the Tennessee one, where the dad bought the kid the gun regardless of knowing the kid's mindset was he was ready to go. He's ready to go do bad intentions. Like you still bought him a firearm, regardless of the fact you knew this kid was telling you he's going to do something very extreme, but it's okay for you. I'm like, what? What like that math isn't mathing, you know? Like, why do you want to continue to fuel these things and then go, woe is me, you know? Because unfortunately, we had Sandy Hook and all the Hidalgo over here in Texas where that whole scenario went down. It's like people start scrutinizing things, but it's like, you know, when you get in there and it's a whole nother ball game of what's going on. You know, these first responders deal with these kind of crazy shit every day, like, but nobody talks about it. Like, I bet a guy he's starting his own podcast is called The Bro Code Unscripted, and it's basically that he's going to talk to first responders. He's been a fireman for like 18 years, and he was talking about EMTs and things they see mentally every day, man. It's like those fucking people go through a lot. Like they see all the crazy shit going on, but then nobody's talking to them about, hey, how's your mental health doing? Same thing in the military. The first guy ever interviewed on this show, he was a 22-year vet, said that when he came back from overseas, he had clear signs of PTSD, you know, traumatic brain injury, things like that. All these things were evident because he was in a Humvee explosion. His fucking Humvee flipped over. Like, he told a wild story. He was in there. He had to get himself out. He was knocked out for 15 minutes, had to come to and pretend to everybody that he was okay because he's the commanding officer. So he's trying to keep it together for everybody else. But then when he came home he said that they did a psychological test, but didn't look at his new test results. They looked at the ones when he went over there. Oh, you're fine. He's like, did you look at these ones here? Oh, no, we didn't look at those. Like, really? And then you wonder what happened to some of these guys, you know, like, you know, to people in Vietnam and things like that. You know, it's like these psychological things these guys are dealing with. You know, I read a book in high school called Voices of Vietnam, and one of the articles, the guy was writing a letter home about how he had to execute somebody, but he's like, this kid was about my age. He's like 16. This guy had to be 16. From what I'm thinking, he's about 15, 16, around that age. Real young guy, either older or younger than this kid. And he was like, he had to end up executing this poor kid. But he's like, it's me or this person, because he's like, I smacked him with a gun, busted his head. And then he's like, you heard this huge whistling sound. And you're reading this guy's letter. This is somebody's real letter he had wrote home and told somebody about. And I was just like, holy shit, dude, this is insane. Like, these are the things these guys were doing, you know, over there. And it was like, you're sending these people to war. Y'all want war, but you're not thinking about the aftermath and the psychological effects that are going to happen to these poor guys when they come back, because, you know, PTSD, you know, kicks in or something triggers them to start freaking out, you know, and you don't know what they're doing. And they're like sitting there, like, or was it the American Sniper movie? I was watching that one too, where Kyle's sitting in the living room and you're watching him sweating bullets and he's thinking he's in combat still.
Going to flashbacks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You know,
I met a guy that was like in Vietnam, and I actually met him at a festival, and this has been about 10 years ago, that he had to leave before the fireworks started, because if he was there when the fireworks started going off, he'd go into flashbacks.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
It's hard, like, man. Yeah, it's like we're sending people to war and causing all this chaos in people's lives, but we don't have a plan to help them when they get back.
Yeah,
everybody just wants to sweep everything underneath the rug and act like everything's okay, and everybody get on with their own lives, you know?
Yeah, man. I think that's the scary part, is everybody's like war. And like, but okay, let's look at the mental health side of it. What are these guys dealing with coming back? You know, I think American Sniper really opened people's eyes to what Kyle dealt with. And that one guy at the end, unfortunately, that took his life and the friend's life, he was struggling a lot too, you know, and he wanted to take out, you know, whatever. And Kyle never wanted recognition for anything. He was always telling people in the movie, like, hey, like, I'm not proud of these things. Like, you could tell he wasn't okay with it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, these things. And Kyle never boasted about those kind of things, but everybody else did. And that's just like, because it comes from like Vietnam. Vietnam was a numbers game. They were just sending major numbers. Oh yeah, we killed off all these people. It's like, but why? Why is this like? I don't understand why you think this is okay. Like, you know, these guys are dealing with these things firsthand, seeing all this crazy shit. World War II, they're seeing like the mustard gas and Agent Orange and all that stuff going on. And they're experiencing all these things, you know, and it's like, we're not worried about when they come back. It's like, okay, we want to keep them so we can still use them. And that was the story the guy was telling, Teddy was telling me. He's like, yeah, they're just looking at my before results because they're like, okay, well, you're still good. You can still be active. Because if they looked at his after results, Teddy wasn't going to be doing anything. Teddy was going to be out of commission for a while because he dealt with a traumatic brain injury. And he said just to go to the store to get milk and come back is a taxing amount for him. That's it. He's done for the day. He's wiped out emotionally. And I think that a lot of times people just want war because they want war, but they don't think of the aftermath ever. And it's like, that's the scary part of it all. It's like, you guys need to start looking at the flip side of this. Like, yeah, okay, war is great for the sense that, you have to, go to war to make sure things don't happen or stop people. But we don't look at the aftermath. Like you just mentioned, we're not getting these people help afterwards though. Like we're leaving them basically fucked at this point. And, it's like, that's, I think, where we're getting the disconnect, or like the school shooter thing. Oh, well, we're going to blame guns instead of just, deal with the problem. It was mental health. Well, the guy had a mental health issue. Then why didn't we get this guy help sooner? Because it's hard to get these things. It's so hard to.
Well, there's no accountability either. I mean, no one wants to take accountability and be like, oh, here's the problem. Or, hey, this is my fault. Hey, this is on me because I should have recognized this. Hey, this is on me. There's none of that. It's always pointing the finger at somebody else.
Yeah, or they're like, oh, there's social media posts out there. This guy's saying wild things. But so why didn't you do something sooner then?
I mean, exactly. I mean, I've never once heard somebody say, hey, I should have recognized this. This is my fault. No, everybody wants to point the finger at somebody else. You're never going to fix anything if no one ever takes accountability for the problems.
We don't take accountability. You just said that, though. Remember, we don't want to take.
I said that's why none of the problems are ever going to get fixed until somebody takes accountability for it.
Right. And so somebody starts saying enough is enough. And it's just like, it's crazy, man. When you start watching the news, you see all these things and all these wild things. And it's just like, God, dude, it's like y'all don't think of the after effects of everything going on. And it's like we see these people struggle every day where I'm at, too. You see these people coming down the street, they're just addicted to drugs, and you can see they're just so gone. But it's like everybody's like, oh, we know this person. So then let's go fucking help this person. Why leave them out there to be, making people making fun of this person when this person's struggling so bad? You can see they're literally having a I had a woman near me out here sweeping the grass with a broom. Like people are watching her, just out there sweeping. Like, it's like, come on, man. Like, clearly this poor woman needs help. We need to do better as a society. We need to do way better. We need to start doing something about these problems and start addressing these issues and stop sweeping under the rug. Like you were telling earlier, like we like to sweep everything like, oh God, or what is it? Big Daddy with the milk thing where he just puts the newspaper on the milk. All right, well, I covered it. It's good to go. It's like, no, we can't keep doing that. We can't keep putting a Band-Aid on a thing. And I think that's the nice thing with these podcasts that keep popping up about these conversations. It's like people are having a more space to talk about all these things they deal with, and they feel safer to talk about it instead of getting scrutinized when they go tell their friends, like, hey, I deal with mental health issues. I have BPD or I have bipolar, and instead of these people instantly jumping to, oh, well, you're absolutely nuts. Like, you have no idea what these people deal with on a daily basis, especially BPD. These poor people are cycling some of their emotions for some of them. Other people are questioning their own reality, or people that have like DID, which used to be multiple personality disorder. Like, if you watch them, it's not really so much a personality. It's just little ticks of things that they do, and things like that. And you notice it, and it's nice. People are all excited to hear these things, and they hear these little catchwords. But when you're watching it in front of you, it's different than versus reading it in a book. You could look at a book all day, but that doesn't tell you anything. When you're physically watching somebody in front of you exhibit these different things that they're dealing with, and you see them, and they're explaining their own story to how it affects them. It's a whole different story, man, because you get different stories from everybody else. And I think that's a great thing with the show, though, is that we've met so many different people on here that have like certain these conditions and things. And you see, they all say a different thing affects them. Some now line up a little bit, which, it will happen. Some will have similar symptoms, but like BPD and bipolar go so close together that it's commonly misdiagnosed because people think it's one thing, but it's really the other. And I feel for a lot of these guys, man. It's crazy what you hear these guys say.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend. I grew up with a friend who has bipolar disorder, and I actually lived with him for a couple years. I mean, that was an experience in itself. Like, it was like walking on eggshells at times. It was, you didn't know if he was ready to punch you or he was going to kill you in your sleep at times, or he was the happiest guy in the world, So man, that is a crazy, crazy diagnosis, like a disease that some certain people have. I mean,
Yeah.
he's even still at times when you get around him, you just got to make sure he's not volatile, or else you
Yeah.
don't even want to be around him.
Yeah. And it's hard too, because like, when they start doing those things, people start saying you're crazy, but I mean, it's not that they're crazy. They're dealing with something. And,
Yeah.
I think that not enough people are educated enough to know things, or they feel like, nobody, it's hard to get help these days. But you know how hard it is to get
Yeah.
mental health care these days? It's so expensive. It's insane. It's like we have to have insurance, but then your insurance, you still have to pay more for these. It's like, what's the point of having insurance then if I have to pay more out of pocket? Like, I went to the urgent care the other day, and when I messaged you, I was telling you about it. I was like, um, it still cost me another $45 on top already what I have. Like, my insurance says this is zero coverage, and I have the best coverage possible on my when I was offered, but then I have to pay $45 extra for what? Well, because you have this certain kind of insurance. I'm like, huh? It says zero
It's all a
copay
scam.
here.
It's all about money. That's the only problem with our healthcare system. It's all about making more money.
It is. It's just it's sad, man. It's sad. I think we've gotten so bad greed that it's like that for everything. Everything going up in cost, and then it's
Yeah.
like, it's
I said, and that's
people
not
getting.
helping with a lot of people's mental health either. It's like the uncertainty of everything with the
Mhm.
rising costs, and like a while back. I mean, you go to the store, you can't even find toilet paper. I mean, get
Mhm.
out of here,
Yeah,
Have
that
to,
shit was crazy.
have the shelves at the store, bare.
Or people are selling it on Facebook Marketplace
Yeah,
for extreme amount.
it's
Goddamn
crazy.
scalpers, man! They're scalping the
Yeah,
toilet paper again. Like, what? Like, when people
like
start telling me
people
that.
just aren't right at times. I mean,
Well, people look to take advantage of everything. Think about it, like all
yeah,
the new game systems that come out. People are out there scalping, or Pokemon cards. Like this is a kids game. These kids can't even enjoy it because these people are buying these because they put so much high value on some of these cards, and it's crazy, man. You start looking at some of these values of some of these, and now it's just like it's insane. Like, you can't find anything for these little kids anymore. They can't enjoy the same things we did, like Magic the Gathering. Like, that's just like insane, the amount some of these cards that people are selling. Like that one ring that Post Malone bought for $2 million. It's like, Post, I get you're a fan, but bro, you're not helping by paying $2 million for this card, to this guy, and at the same time, the other guy, he knew he was getting into. He's exploiting Post Malone. He knows he's got money. But Post is a big fan of Magic the Gathering, and he's on the record, so it says he plays all the time and stuff like that, which is really cool. But at the same time, I think it's like it's inciting greed for these people, because then they're like, oh shit, it started a race to find the one ring, because they're like, whoever finds the ring, it's a 1-on-1, so people are buying. Obviously, they're buying them like crazy. Oh, well, yeah, Magic the Gathering is a high selling. Yeah, because everyone looked for the one ring. Other than that, they didn't really care after that point, and it's the same thing with Pokemon cards. It's like, oh, we're all looking for the Charizard and stuff like that, like that excitement's taken away because people are just trying to capitalize on it because the corporate greed is so big. Oh, well, this card's worth like $500 raw. If you grade it and get a 10, it goes up a couple $1,000s. And it's like, huh? Like, these cards from your childhood are like worth $25,000 for a piece of cardboard. It's like, what the hell is going on? Like, we're placing value on these things. It used to be like your sports figures, people signing things and autographs, even that nowadays has kind of gone down a little bit too. Like, the market for those has kind of go up and down, and like, it's just greed, man. It just keeps going. Like, I remember when shit cost less in the 90s, like $4 to get you a whole meal back in the 90s. Now it's like $12, $13 for at least a meal where I'm at. And it's
yeah,
insane. Like, you're spending almost $30 on food just to get a meal. And it's like, oh wow, what happened to the old days when it was $4? What changed? It's the same product. We're not changing anything, and it's like it's crazy though. It's the mindset they got these people in now. And then in video games, the prices are just keep going up and up and up. Like the Switch 2, they were talking about how, well, you're gonna buy it, but you're not gonna have the actual physical game. It's like, then what the fuck is the point? Like, either
that
side of
doesn't even make any sense. That
it
makes
does
no sense. Like,
it, that's what I'm saying. Some people like to collect the value. And like, some of those are kind of interesting to see. Like the ones that we had as kids, man. Like, like a copy of Earthbound's like $500+, and you're just like, holy fuck! Like, I owned this game at one point, or I played this game, and it's like, it's complete crap, but it's worth all this money because people put the monetary value on it, and it's just insanity, man. Like, it's like you see all these things in your childhood just keep going up and up and up. Like, it's no longer. It was just like back in the 90s for us. It was Michael Jordan was the craze. The Michael Jordan shoes, and that was it. now you got Pokemon, you got this, you got that, get this. It's like everything bouncing around, and it's just like, holy crap, dude. And these people trying to scalp, and they're trying to sell you fake cards, and then they're trying to take all these cards so the kids can't have things. It's like, what the hell's going on? Like, the world has gone to complete hell in a handbasket,
Well,
man.
because
Like,
everybody's like placing everything on possessions. Like, you got to have this. What's the next best thing? Oh, you have this. Well, now you got to have this, and you're chasing something that's never going to make you complete.
yeah, I fell into that for a while too, man. I literally had to
I've
move.
been there. I've been there, and I had to learn how, hey, I have to declutter my life, and my life got a lot more simple, Hey, I don't need any of that stuff. Like, you're talking about the news. I don't even watch any of the news.
Me either.
I
Me either, man.
I
I don't either.
refuse. I refuse to even play that game and get in that circle. Like, I watch all these people complain about everything. Like, I don't need to see how horrible the world is right now. And you tell me how everything's going at pretty much hell. I already know.
He's like, I already know. I've been there. Trust me. I was like, hello, Stan. I'll be your conductor on this ride of hell. Please put your carts in a hot, put your trays in upside right table, things like that, and it's like, yeah, it's so wild though. I stopped watching news too because I watched CNN a lot early on before, and I was just watching it constantly, man. I was just getting so mad, so sucked into this stuff,
Yeah.
And I had to get away from it. And I unplug a lot of times in social media too. So like after 5 o'clock, I turn my phone silent, and I usually don't answer a lot of messages, and I'll try not to, or unless I'm watching something on my phone that's different, But I rarely am on it. I try not to be on it because at first when I started the podcast, I was on there 24/7 trying to do everything myself. But then I started putting these systems in place to help like pull me back a little bit. And I literally had to take a break, and I unplug all the time from social medias and stuff. Like I'll post stuff. Like I'll still post things, or have posts scheduled to go and things like that. And I'll post something at least every day. I'm trying to get on and post something. But some days I'm just like, I just got to pull away because if not, I get addicted. Like, we're so stuck to this that you're walking past each other, we're not looking at each other anymore. And it's, all these kids are seeing all these people streaming, but they're not realizing the backside of that. Like the negative side is that these people, that's all they do. Like you don't see a lot. You see a lot of them start deteriorating a little bit too. You're watching them. And a lot of them are like, oh,
they don't have any human connection.
I
mean, and we were built for connection. Like God built us so we could be connected to one another and have like community, fellowship.
We got community, but in the wrong way now. I think it's just everybody like, has their own little communities. It's great, but I think people.
Well, that's all that's for validation. Like all the social media stuff, that's more for validation. Everybody's seeking validation instead of, connection.
Right. And,
look at me and look at me and look at me, and that's all it is, hey, look at me.
Yep. It's the look at me society and things like that. And they're like, oh, look at me. Hey, oh, hi. Or what is it? Remember the Simpsons episode with Mo when he had his own like restaurant? Hey, look at me, Uncle Mo. Ha, I'm Uncle Mo. That's what I kind of think of when you say that, because that's the first thing I think of. I'm like, oh my God, it's hilarious. Because, they always saying like the Simpsons predicted a lot of shit. I'm like, but they're not wrong though. Think about it.
Yeah.
Like they predicted all these crazy shit. Like the whole thing, Uncle Mo being, Mo was like wanting all this attention. It's just like social media. Hey, look at me. I'm so-and-so. Ha, it's me, and it's hilarious though, man. But it feels great though when you unplug though. Like literally just step away from everything. You don't feel so locked in and enslaved to your phone, because like TikTok's really bad with that too. Those people just keep sending these lives. Well, here, come join my live. Here comes join live. I get like 5,000 different requests to go to somebody's live. I'm just like,
I've been to a couple of them, and like I'm like, you guys aren't even doing anything. Like, and then send me money for sitting here. Anybody who sends you money for you sitting there is stupid. I'm sorry to say it, but you need to be checked out. I mean, I don't know how you get paid money.
They're making a lot of money. There's a girl
I know to do nothing.
She sits there all night and she's just sitting there talking to people, and that's all she's doing is talking. And these people are just sending money, and she's sending these big gifts, and the gifts are bigger and more extravagant, and these crazy things they're sending. And they're sending these $500 gifts, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's crazy. No, it doesn't. It could be because we're older guys. We don't understand it. Maybe we're not into the crowd.
I mean, a lot of it is if they're sending money to a woman, I understand what they really, really want. I mean, I'm not dumb.
TikTok's the OnlyFans. It's the OnlyFans without the OnlyFans. Everybody started hating OnlyFans.
there's an ulterior motive. I mean, and I think most women understand that. I mean, that's why a lot of them are more successful as content creators, because you have guys chasing them.
Remember the girl? I don't know if you remember this episode. Remember Dr. Phil? The girl said, catch me in the corner. The one that just sounded so dumb.
Yeah, yeah,
I think she's the one that makes the most on OnlyFans ever because she markets herself so well. These dudes are so infatuated with her, have been following her since she was a teen, and it's really creepy. The same thing
yeah,
with a lot of the stuff that came out about the guy from that 70s show when he got in trouble for grooming, and then Drake from Drake and Josh, to him too, and all these other things they were doing. And it's just like, it's crazy. These dudes are just dropping this money just for them to say hello to you. And it's like, fuck, I'll come say hello to you. Give me $20. I'll say hello to you. Shit. You want to dress somebody my way? I'll dress up in a
yeah,
dress if that's what gets you to come watch me. I'll do Roger Rabbit moment. Okay. I'll dress up like Jessica from Roger Rabbit if you want. I'll do whatever you want for a certain amount of money. But it's like, these dudes are just like nuts, man. They're just like, oh, I'm giving my whole paychecks to somebody. Huh? What was it,
yeah.
the one recently I listened to on the radio? It was the lady thought Keanu Reeves was reaching out to her, bro. Okay. So Keanu Reeves. This lady thought Keanu Reeves just needed money from him. Like, man, I'm thinking, man, first off, Keanu Reeves makes all these movies and he doesn't even sound like him. Somebody's impersonating him. And like, she was so fixated in like, well, Keanu Reeves needs my money. I gave him like $30,000. I'm like, $30,000? What? Huh? Hold up. What? You did what now? Don't know. And she's like, yeah, he needed my money. I'm like, think about that. Keanu Reeves, a successful actor, guy makes all these different movies, a lot of us remember him as Bill and Ted, as Ted Esquire, and up to where he's now, you know what I mean? It's like he's done all these. He don't need your money. He prints money like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And Keanu isn't the type of person that I don't think ever would ask anybody for some money. But even they were joking about it, going like, "What? You thought this was Keanu Reeves? It doesn't even sound like him. It sounds like a robotic version of Keanu Reeves." And it was just so like. It's so funny because you hear these scams that people fall into, and I've watched two people and was following them. Like we were at work when they called and said, "Oh, well, corporate's calling you. We need to get all this money together." I'm like, think about it. Corporate doesn't open. It's 11 o'clock at night. Corporate's not open at all. Why would they be calling you, ask you for money from you directly, for you to put in this, and then somebody's going to come pick it up? And I'm like, huh? Like, think about it. And then recently it was a girl that got on the phone. It's the phone card scam thing. Oh, well, I need you to go to your phone card terminal. I'm like, well, think about it. You're talking on the phone. I said, whatever you do. I'm like, hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Like, I didn't know the conversation. I looked at her. I said, my coworker, I'm like, Jenny, hang up the fucking phone right now. Why? It's a scam. Hang up. I knew exactly what she was doing. The minute she said, well, I'm at the phone card. Jenny, hang up that phone right now. Why? Well, they said they talked to our bot. Jenny, hang up the goddamn phone. It's a scam. Are you sure? I'm 100% sure it's a scam. Hang up the goddamn phone right now. And she's just looking at me, and I'm just like, oh no, like, come on now. You can't tell me you're buying that crap that, oh, corporate's calling you at 10 o'clock at night. Like, I've had people from the corporate call me on their direct phone line. It's a different, you can see the name on the call ID says that person's name. We had a situation where they called us one time, but I love fucking with those people when they call, man. I'm prepared always with something new for them. I'm like, oh yeah, really? What did they say? Well, damn, I can't find this thing, man. I don't know where it's at. Like, can you explain a little more detail to me? Like, you're just sitting there screwing with them. Because they're screwing with you, so it's all right, cool, game on, let's go. You think I'm dumb enough to fall for this? I know that you're kind of to pull a scam because you're not really believable. Or it's like, hi, my name's Bill, and it's like, yeah, your name's not Bill. Stop it. Well, I'm calling from your government. Oh, are you really? Which government are you calling from? And it's like, it's the shit you see, man, every day, and it just makes you worry.
I said I actually had one of them a couple months ago that they told me they were what was it? They were Department of Homeland Security calling me, and they pulled up one of my previous addresses, like, hey, you had drugs sent here, and they started reading off all this stuff, like, hey, you have property here and here and here. I'm like, dude, I've never even been to that state in my entire life. They're like,
Ryan's like, oh, that's great, man. I'm glad. I'm sure you should.
I'm like, okay, and they start digging a little deeper, and they're like, hey, you need to do this. I'm like, first off, if the government was investigating me for drugs, you wouldn't be calling me. You'd be kicking my door in. Like,
Ryan, I got a funny story for you, though. Funny thing is, Homeland Security actually visited me one time, and I could tell you for sure they ain't calling you.
Yeah, they're going to be kicking the door right in.
So I was going to work. Okay. I didn't notice 3 black SUVs following me. I pull into work, dude. I kid you not. 3 SUVs pull up. Dude's fully armed to the teeth. And then this guy come out there and say, hold on, someone wants to talk to you. And this agent came up to me. I don't remember the guy's name, but he said, hello, my agent so-and-so with Homeland Security. Like, I could tell you right now, if Homeland Security wanted to talk to you, they ain't calling you. They showing up at your house. They rolling in with the SUVs. They're pulling up armed to teeth. Hey, have you seen this person that lived in the house I was in prior to me? I was like, no, I've seen him before. I've seen a lot of activity going on. Apparently, they were wanted by Homeland Security. I was like, oh, no. They're like, well, who's this person that was coming down your house? Like, they know all these details. They know everything that's going on. They're watching you. So trust me, if Homeland Security is not calling you, they're not going to call you. They're going to show up at your house.
Well, that's why I tried to tell them. I was like, if you were the federal government and you were investigating me for drugs, you wouldn't call me to tell me you were investigating me for drugs. You would come kicking my door and I wouldn't be able to see you until it was time to put me in handcuffs.
Right. No, man, I hear you though. This shit's hilarious though. It's just so funny because I was like, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I've ever told anybody about that time that the government came to visit me. Shit.
Scare you a little bit?
Oh, dude, I was more confused than anything. All the people I work with were freaking out. They're like, oh shit, what's going on out there? That was the highlight of the day. Like, man, did you hear Pete had all the people swarming around him and everything like that? He had all these people want to talk to him. I'm like, dude, it was Homeland Security reaching out to me. This shit was crazy because it was like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. It's more confused than anything. It's like, hey, somebody wants to talk to you. And this guy in like a full gear get up, like you would see coming in, armed like Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's ready to go, guns and everything all attached to him. And I was like, oh, okay. I was a little more confused at first because I was like, huh? And he's like, do you know these people? Are you lying to me? Can I go? I'm like, listen, you go to my house, knock on the door and go, I'll have somebody let you in and go look. I'm like, you can go see. It ain't that big of a house. Go look and see. I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I just know that they were there. A lot of activity with them down there. A lot of times, a lot of people coming in and out of the house. That's all I knew. We weren't sure. We kept calling it the Breaking Bad house because these people were coming back and forth all through the night, making noise and, all this other crazy shit. I'm just like, yeah, man. But it was like, I was more confused because I'm like, damn, if Homeland Security's looking for you, you had to do something to get on that radar, especially that level. It's like, holy fuck, dude. And then they were asking questions about people coming back and forth my house because my parents live on the corner from that house. And they check in on my kids every song because the kids were home or whatever. And I was at work. And my mom would come down and check on them. So that, they were working on homework or whatever. And she was like, who's this? He's like, who's this lady walking down from the corner house to your house? I was giving me my mom. Okay. So you're not lying to me? I can go to your house and check in. Like, he was serious too. I was like, oh, no, sir. I'm like, I have no reason to lie to you whatsoever. Like, I don't know these people, dude, but if I can help you find them, I'm down with it. I don't know what they did. He wouldn't, obviously didn't disclose what they were doing, but it was enough to let you know that these motherfuckers weren't joking. These guys had guys over there armed, the guys over here armed, like they were surrounding me. Like, and they pulled up behind me because when I pulled in, I just looked back to get out of the car. I was getting out of the car, and all of a sudden, a black SUV pulled up. So everybody in the store is looking and shit like that, like, oh my God, what happened to Peter? What happened? Like, they're like all afraid of me now because they're like, oh shit, Homeland Security came and talked to this guy. I don't know what to say. So, all right, guys, if we get ready to start wrapping up this episode, Ryan, you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Best place to find me is probably on Facebook at Ryan Wickline or at Through the Fire. Best place to find me, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Ryan Wickline. Email throughthefire81@gmail.com. Best place to find me.
And if anybody wants to be on your show, is that the best way to reach you too?
Yeah, just probably get a hold of me on Facebook and then DM me.
That sounds good, man. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, bud. I had a great time hanging out with you.
Hey, yeah, it was nice being able to come on your show too.
We'll have to get ready to come on here now. We got to tell him to stop slacking and tell him to get his shit together. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But guys, I actually talk to him tomorrow, so I'll tell him.
Let him. He said you better get your shit together, man. All right, let's go. But anyways, guys, let's wrap up this episode of Pete versus Society. Of course, Ryan, thank you so much for coming, man. It was a great time hanging out with you. Definitely come back and talk to me. We'll look at the men's mental health thing, and I'll let you know. Hopefully, we'll have Ryan come back. He can be a guest on the show when we do that too. You guys can come check him out, get his thoughts on everything else as we all have a group discussion. But guys, you know where to find me. I'm Pete versus Society and X all the way down all the way down to Facebook, TikTok, everything else. Everywhere you can find me. I'm like Visa, everywhere you want me to be. I'm Spotify, all the way down to iHeartRadio. And as I always say, it costs nothing, absolutely nothing to be kind to somebody. One kind act you can do can save someone's life or help you even make their day. I'm Pete versus Anxiety signing off saying, hey, don't ask how your day is today. Say, hey, how's your